Righto, how are we going, guys? So we're going to go through a full-on tutorial, a pretty long one. So we'll put in some chapters so you can skip to the next bit or whatnot if you've already know how to do certain parts and those sort of things. So pretty much this is for the P100. A lot of it will apply also for the V40. They're very similar. But in terms of the actual aircraft, we'll just be doing it on a P100 here. So pretty much we've got a brand new one here. We're going to set it up. We're going to go through the pairing process. Although 90% of them, well, they're all paired from when we send them out of the workshop anyway. But in case you have to repair it, like if it disconnects or something like that, we'll show you how to do that as well. So in your big boxes, you'll get a big pallet. So you can see some on the shelves there. So that's how they'll rock up. Usually it's about 2 pallets that rock up. So you'll get a few. You've got some. First, you've got a few spares and stuff in here. So they give you some spare discs, you know, some bolts and some bits and pieces, you know, a good tool set in there as well that you can set up, that it's good for parts, even some zip ties. You've got your LNT. So your LNT, that stands for local network terminal. So inside we've got, this is a USB-A to USB-C. So sometimes if we have to do major updates, you'll just have to plug a USB-A into that and then plug it into the LNT, and then that'll do the major update. So that's there as well if you want to do that. Got some manuals and those sort of things. In here, we'll bring it down here if you want, Mick. So this is the actual LNT, the actual system. So this is a full offline system. So this is what you don't need any internet to use. This is what it goes through this. So it creates its own internet, if that makes sense. So in that, we've got some cables. So this is your main cable. This plugs into your battery, or you can plug it into the the cigarette socket in your vehicle. So you just got to remember though, if you want to use a cigarette socket, you have to plug it in to the battery connector as well. Because what happens is this is actually the reducer, so it reduces it. Say if you're using a truck, it's 24 volt, it reduces it down to 9 volt. You don't have to have that plugged into the battery though. If you have it plugged into 12 volt, you can just have it sitting there, and then you plug the other end of that into the actual LNT down the bottom here. So I'll just pop that cover off there. What you do is you plug that in there like that, just like that. There is some other plugs and stuff down the bottom here. It says SIM, you don't need a SIM card in Australia, so don't worry about that. But down the bottom here, you can take that other big rubber bit off. I don't have anything to pick it off there anyway. But there's all HDMIs and USB-Cs, so if you wanted to do your, if you wanted to do an update, that's where you would plug it in down there. You've also got your on and off button down the bottom here. So we'll actually plug him in. Actually, we won't do it yet because we don't need to. So yeah, that's your on and off button down the bottom. And inside, you've also got your standard antennas. So you got to make sure they're on. So these standard antennas, they say roughly about a kilometre range. Normally we don't do heap of work outside of a kilometre range, but you can also get your aftermarket bigger ones. You know, we've got them fixed to our truck and those sort of things. Makes it a bit easier. A bit longer distance and those sort of things. So that sits up there. They even give you a stand in there as well. So what you can do is that just slides on the back there like that. Just like that. And then you can sit him up there just like that. And then that's him. So I'll get rid of that box. Make it a bit, we're going to have some rubbish here. So that's the LNT. So the next thing that you'll get in your box, so this is all this gear as well as, what's today? It's January 2022. So they always bring out new things as well. So sometimes you might not need some of this, say in a year's time, or things might have changed, but this is as of now anyway. So we've got in here as well, this is the ACS2. So this is your manual controller and also to mark out your field. So you can see that there. To mark out your field, you'll see in some other videos that we've done, we say make sure you've got the RTK on top. So in the box as well, you've got your RTK, your little module that just, all it does, slides on top there like that. You just make sure that's clipped in like that. Easy as that. You've got down the bottom, you've got where you charge it down there, and also underneath is where you turn it on. So all XAG gear, you press and hold until it flashes. See like that, and then you press and hold again. And it turns on. We'll turn that off, there's no need to have it on at the moment. Same to turn it off, press and hold until it flashes, then press and hold again. We'll put that gear down the bottom as well. So the other box here, you'll have a big box, well not a big box, sorry, another box here that has a big black sort of, I don't know, carry case in it. This is where your RTK is. Obviously it's got the carry case because it is one of the most expensive items in there. You've got to keep it sort of protected. So that's your RTK, this is your base station. So this is what the drone will talk to reference everything. So to turn it on and to get it working, you'll also, in your box, you'll have a long skinny case. So this is your pole for the RTK. So this is actually the battery for it as well. The battery isn't actually in the head bit, it's in the pole. So you'll see here, there's a little charging point there. You just pop that little rubber grommet off and then you just plug a USB-C in there and it charges. This one and the ACS2, they require at least a 3 amp to charge, so you've got to make sure it's a decent sort of charger. You will also, in your box, you'll have a charging power, like a power bank, so just use the highest USB-C point for that one. So all we do with this one, we just put it on top. You'll see there's three little markers there. I don't know if you can see that on there. So you see you got 3 there, and you've just got to line that up as well with your RTK. So it just pops on there like that, and then you just screw that on. So you screw that on like that, just like that, make sure it's tight. And then to turn it on, you press and hold until the lights here flash, see they're flashing here, and then just press and hold again. Then that turns on. You'll get some lights underneath there as well. We'll go through exactly what those lights mean and everything shortly. So that's that, we'll turn him back off. Righto. So the next one is the actual drone battery and the charger. Simple, but a lot of people have a few problems with it just because it's just a bit different. So all you're doing is, so this is the main battery here for your drone. Obviously I think this one's a 13 cell battery, water cooled. Only cool it up to the lines there as well. See how you can see it says min and max. Don't fill, when we say water cooled, don't drop the whole thing in the water. That's the maximum line there. If you have a water cool, a charging actual tank, it won't let it fill any higher than that anyway. So yeah, all it does is the water circulates in through the actual cells in the battery and then keeps it cool. So to turn it on, and also when it's in the drone or in the charger, all you do is press and hold on top there. Hang on, I'll show you. If you want to just press it once, it'll show you how much battery's in it. So there's 80% in this battery. But you press and hold until it flashes. You probably actually won't do it because I haven't got it plugged in. Hang on. I'll plug it into the charger here. So we press and hold till it flashes, see like that, and then press and hold again, and then that's on now. So the battery's on. If it was in the drone would be activated and all that. It's turned itself off because we don't have the charger plugged in. So yeah, that's how you turn the battery on. Now it depends on when you are. There is some new updates now that you don't need to turn the battery on to charge it. But if you haven't updated your batteries or anything like that yet, you just need to turn it on for it to charge. So plug your charger into the power. It's got to be a 15 amp socket, and then just plug your battery in like that. You can see down the bottom here that it only goes one way. You can only push it in one way. Just goes in like that till it clips, and then you press and hold till it flashes, and then press and hold again, and it turns on. And then that'll start charging now. So the actual charger, this is the one for the current market. So yeah, they require about 3,000 watts each, these chargers, so you do need a decent sized generator if you're running a few chargers. They use a 15 amp plug. So yeah, basic sort of setup, nothing too, you don't need to water cool these. We just recommend put them in a cool sort of area. You'll see on the side here, they've got all your cooling fins. So just try not to lay it down that way and have it charging. It's best if it's sitting up and keeping those fins nice and cool. They do have fans on the top of them as well that pushes air through those fins. So yeah, it keeps them as cool as possible. So that's that. So next one, we'll go into the actual drone, So you can see here, this is a new P100. We've got the seeder set up on this one. So to swap over from a seeder to a sprayer, all you're doing is clipping these two clips on each side. It's pretty basic. You just make sure you unclip those 2 clips. They just pop off, and then on each side, and then you can lift the actual thing off like that. There is a one you'll see on the back here. If you come over here, we don't have it plugged in at the moment, but you'll see there's one main plug. This is the main plug. One of these is on your aircraft, and one of these is on your actual seeder or your sprayer, and all you're doing is just plugging that main plug in, and then you just clip him up there. So that's all you have to do. You don't have to worry about any other plugs for that. You don't have to worry about any of that sort of. Obviously, with your sprayers, you'll have 2 little pipes that will come down here. Just plug the pipes in on the actual pumps. That's all you have to do with them, because obviously they go up to your nozzles. We'll go through some stuff of the actual aircraft. So we'll start at the front. We've got the radar up the front. Like we say to everyone, the radar is only a backup, only use it as a backup. It is actually pretty good, these ones. They'll go around the obstacles and keep going and those sort of things. But if there's an obstacle in the field, we always say mark it. We only use these as a backup. But in saying that, they work a lot better than previous models, that's for sure. Under here, we've got your FPV camera, and we've also got a set of lights under here as well. I don't know if you can see them. It looks all right. Anyway, we've also got the terrain following sensor under here as well. So yeah, that's all your terrain following, your FPV camera, and some lights under there. Under the hood, we've got all your actual computer electronics. So this is your main flight controller. This has got all your gear in this. So yeah, if you need to do anything with that, that's all your main flight controller sort of setup. This is all IPX7 rated, that's what they say. So everything can be washed down and hosed down and those sort of things. Obviously don't sit there with a gurney on all these electrical parts or those sort of bits and pieces, but they can be washed down and you know, to keep clean, because obviously if you have more chemicals on there, it can start doing more corrosion and those sort of things as well. You also have on here, if you've got all your wiring diagrams on here, so say if the tech guys say, oh, just check your plug on your terrain following sensor, so you can just check here and say, oh yeah, righto, that's my terrain following sensor, and you can just follow it where that wire is and just plug it in and plug it out and those sort of things. So I'll put them, they just clip back on. Your actual blades, so obviously they just push off like that, and then they just push out. They don't have to be, you know, you don't have to get them spot on, lined up every time. As soon as they start spinning, they'll open up anyway. You've got your ESCs here as well, but yeah, that's the basic sort of setup on them. We will run through on another video as well the actual maintenance side of the aircraft, but this is more of just you know, how to set it up and just a quick run through on everything. The actual batteries, I'll put one in there so you can see. So the P100s take 2 batteries. You can take 1 battery on these as well, but you can only run 20 litres, so half a tank on these. So all they do is you just pop them in there like that. They just slide in there, and then we just turn him on, press and hold till it flashes. Or it might not have it in right. Righto. Like that, and then that's turned on now. So just like that, pretty simple. Yeah, easy as that really. Yeah, I think that's the main sort of run through. What we'll go through now is the actual pairing things up, so you can see how to pair it all up. Righto, so guys, now what we're going to do, we're going to go through pretty much, we're going to pair all this to your account. Like I said, we do all this before it leaves the workshop anyway, but it can happen where something, you know, say if you get a new RTK or something like that, you just want to know how to repair it to your account. It's pretty much, it's easy to repair it to your account, but what the tricky part is pairing it to the LNT, because the LNT is an offline system, so it doesn't talk to the internet. We do need internet, and this is pretty crucial as well. You do need internet at the start, like just to pair everything to your account. It's a lot easier with good internet, a lot faster. But then once you pair it, you only have to do it once. You don't ever have to worry about internet again, really. So it is pretty crucial that you have internet when you're first pairing everything to your account. So what we'll do first, you've got to make sure you have the XAG1 app. So to get the XAG1 app, what I say is the easiest is you've got to use an Android phone as well, whether it's a phone or a tablet. It's really up to you. A lot of guys use phones, some guys use the tablets just because they're a bigger screen, but it's really purely up to you. So go to XAG Australia on your phone. Might bring it in here a bit, Mick, so they can see. I might put it down here. And so what it'll do first is make sure that it's connected to the internet. So we're actually going to connect to our internet here.
Is that going to work for you?
Can you see that? Yeah, close enough anyway. We'll run through. So we'll just connect to our internet. Oh, I just put in my password. Hopefully everyone's seen that one.
Well, no, that. We're good.
So wait for it to connect. So righto, now it's connected. So now we're just going to go into Google. Some Android phones will actually want you to log on to your Google account to actually download anything. It's a bit silly, but if you do have a Google account, just log in on that. So go onto XAG Australia, go onto their website. Then you'll see on their website here, you go up to your options up the top. You go support, you go app download, and it'll bring you to the app download. So there's a few different apps here. You've got XAgri app, you've got the XGeomatics, you've got the XAgri V2. These are all for the old drones, so don't worry about them. And you've got XAG1. So you just hit download for Android. And then if you've already logged into your account, it'll come up with this package installer. So you just hit install. I've already put it on this phone, so it's going to come up with bits and pieces. So we won't worry about that. It's asking me to update. We're not going to update anything yet. So it'll also probably come up with an error saying, this is an unknown source. Do you want to install? You just say yes, just obviously because it's a foreign app. That's why it is asking you if you want to install it. So once you've downloaded it, that's the app up the top here. So XAG1, that's what it's called. So what we'll do is we'll log in. So it'll come to this page here. You want to make sure you're connected to your internet, your home internet or your workshop internet or something like that when you first log in. Like I said, we need internet first when we first pair everything up. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm not going to log into my account. I'm just going to log into this one that we can see. Now it's come to this app. Now, it'll ask you in a lot of Chinese writing if you want to update it. Normally, none of it's Chinese, but this is just a new app now. So we just hit not now because there is a new update that it's a trial one, but we're not getting people to update it yet. Just ask us first what the current update is and we'll make sure that you guys have that ready to go because it depends obviously when you're watching this video as to what the current version is. Righto, so first thing we want to do now is connect to the LNT. So at the moment we're still connected to our internet. We go down the bottom to me, we go to device, we go up the top here, you've got 3 little dots. You go LNT network configuration. We want to connect to the LNT. And then down the bottom we go set because we've got to turn the LNT on first, sorry. So to turn the LNT on, obviously I've got it plugged in. So we're back, we've got the LNT turned on now. This is the second time we've done it. The phone went flat, so we'll do it again. So now what we're going to do, we've got some lights here on the LNT. This takes, anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes to set up. So what we normally do is when we turn on the truck, when we first rock up to the job, we turn this on first, lets it initialize. That way you're not having any errors, you're not having any problems. So you need at least 3 lights on. It's got the 3rd light on there at the moment just because we connected to the internet like 5 minutes ago before the phone went flat. But we'll do that again so I can show you guys how to do it. But if you're offline, you only need the first 2 and the last one to come online. You don't need that 3rd one on because that only means it's connected to the internet. So we'll go into the app, XAG1. So we don't want to update it. It'll ask us to update. So what we do is we go me, device, up the top right hand corner there's 3 little dots, go LNT network configuration, go LNT, go set. We're already connected to it. Actually, no, we're not. We're going to connect to it. It'll be XAG something. So you can see this one's XAG6E94. Connect to that. Like I said previously, if there's any passwords that it asks you for, it's 20070401. That's 2007 of the 4th month of the 1st day. That's when XAG was founded. So if it ever asks you that, so we'll do it again here. It'll ask for it here. So 20070401. Log in. So what we'll do now is, I've already done it, but I'll show you here. We've got to make sure it'll be on WLAN mode. See at the top here? Just make sure if you want to connect it to the internet, which we do have to connect it to the internet to add devices, it has to be in WAN mode. So that's connecting the LNT to the internet. So once we've turned on WAN mode, it'll try and log us out. Then we'll log back in. Then we have to go to wireless connection. And then this brings up all the hotspots in your area. Some guys use their phone as hotspots. Some guys, we're connected here to our workshop internet. So you can see there's a few other internets that you can use. Just make sure it is a good quality internet. We're using Starlink here, but make sure it can handle some internet because you are updating all your devices and you're linking it all to your account. So now that we're connected to the internet, we've got the third light here, so we've got 4 lights all on. So we'll go back. If you want to add your devices, you have to make sure that you've got those 4 lights on. Like I said in the past, we already do all this from the workshop, so you don't have to worry about a lot of this rubbish, but it's just in case you have to do it down the track at some point. So a lot of this you're going to probably skip through because you don't need to, because it's already all connected. The main thing is when you first get your drone, we've already paired everything to the LNT, but you just have to tell the you have to just tell it to put it on your account. It should already be there, but if it isn't, this is how you do it. So the first thing when you first get your drone, it's best to connect the LNT to the internet like I just did then. So you go into those 3 dots, you go LNT network configuration, you go LNT, you go set, make sure you connect it to your LNT, which is that XAG. Yours will be like a different number. This one's 6E94. You can see I've got another one on below it, XAG CF93. That's just its individual one. So you go into that, then you go into your, oh, hang on, I've gone out of it. LNT, then you go into the connected because we're connected. You type in the password, I've already done it, so it's already easy. Then you go wireless connection. If that wireless connection is blanked out, you need to go into router setup and make sure you're in WAN mode. Then you go back to wireless connection and then you can just connect it to one of your internet sources there. So that's how you connect the LNT to the internet. So now we're going to connect the remote controller to the LNT. So the ACS2 is on, like I said, press and hold it till it flashes, then press and hold again. Wait till the lights stop flashing on the ACS2. So now we see we've got one solid green light. This means it's in 4G mode, but we want to connect to the LNT, so we're going to go to offline mode. So what we're going to do now, go back to our app, go to Me, go to Device, 3 dots at the top, LNT network configuration because we're connecting it to the LNT, remote controller, go Yes, go Next, go Set because we need to connect to the ACS2's internet. Wait for the ACS2 to come up here, so we go ACS2, we type in that default password again, 0401, you can see 2007 of the 4th month of the 1st. Go connect. So now we just wait. It might come up and say, do you want to use this internet? Do you want to use this internet? There's no internet. Make sure you always hit yes, keep connection. It depends on what you're using. If it's a, you know, a Samsung or, you know, your different type of phones. It's always good, like this is, what's this one? I think this is a Nokia. So we're just hitting the back button up the top. But I think the Samsungs have the back button down the bottom. Always hit the back button down the bottom on the Samsungs because then it goes straight back to the app. So just like that. So go connected because now we're connected to the ACS2. Now what we have to do here, we have to put in the actual LNT because we have to tell it to talk to the LNT. So it doesn't know what to talk to at the moment. So this LNT's name was XAG-6 capitals E94. So then we just type in 20070401. Okay, connected. So now it says configured. So what you'll see now on the ACS2, there should be some lights that come up here. So and it'll actually talk to you and say connect success. So then what should happen is on this tick here, a orange light should come up on it. If it's a red light, it usually means you've got a wrong password or you put that LNT's name in wrong. So just do it again if it's a red one. But you just got to wait until it goes green. So now it's green, which means now it's connected to the LNT. So now that we've done that, you'll see if we go back, it still says no device. So all we have to do now is add the device, and then you can either scan it, so we'll scan this one here, or you need to scan it, probably not the right sun, or we can just enter the serial number. So we'll put this one's serial number in, 179223220 JKS, confirm. You might say failed add, sometimes you have to do it a few times. Actually, I'll make sure I got that number right. 1792232. Oh, I've got the number wrong. It's K5. See, something simple like that. Do it again. Righto. So now that's worked, you can name it whatever you want. We'll just call this, what should we call this one? We'll just call it ACS2. Next. Wait for it to load. So that's just connecting it. So now it says successful. So now you can see your first device there is on your device page. It's online. You can see, you know, all your connections and everything like that, and all that sort of stuff. So that's that there. You got your 3 lights there now on the ACS2. So that means it's connected to the LNT, and then that one means it's connected to the phone, and then that's your power. Righto. So that's the ACS2. What we'll do now is the actual drone. So like what we did just before, we did the ACS2. So all we're doing is we have to tell the drone to talk to the LNT first. So we've got the LNT on, connects to the internet. We hit the 3 dots at the top, LNT network configuration. We go agricultural drone, we go OK, we go next. So now it gives you a bit of instructions there on what to do. So make sure your drone is on. Usually, you know, have it on for at least 5 minutes just so that it initializes and everything like that. So you take the hood off, because when these drones come from factory, they're set to 4G mode. So these ones can work in 4G. They don't need any, they work all through the 4G network. In Australia, we turn them offline. So normally we do this at the workshop before you even get them, but for some reason, if you have to do this, this is how you do it. So in here, there's actually, it even shows on the actual phone there what to do. There's a tiny little button on the flight, on top of the flight controller. So we just put our little pokey thing through there. Where is it? There it is. We press 1, 2, 3, release, press again, 1, 2, 3. And then what that does now, it sets it to LNT mode, and then we just have to go set. We have to wait. It'll come up with a big long number, which is actually the serial number of the flight controller. What's this one? Ends in E7F. So that's it there. XAG ends in E7F. So same password, 2070401. Connect. Connected. We'll go back. We'll press connected on this now. That's already saved our LNT stuff from last time. Actually, I think that's it. Yeah, that was it. So we go tick connection, and now it says configured. So what you'll see in here too now, just come in here a bit, Mick. So you'll see, actually in here, you'll see some lights flashing underneath on the flight controller. So yep, pretty much you'll need the 2 middle ones in to go green. So see, the first one's already gone green. So there's another one there on the right to the green. When that one starts flashing green, means you're all connected and good to go. This one should do it. I see it's already starting to do some of it there. So we'll go out of it. Sometimes it takes a little bit. So now what we'll do is we've just got to actually add the drone to your account. So then what we did, we added the drone to the LNT, so now we just have to add the drone to your account. So you can see now those two lights are flashing green. So we'll connect back to our LNT on our phone, go back into the app, go to Me, Device, we need to add the device. So around the back of the drone, you'll see there's a QR code. You scan that bad boy. Sometimes you have to do it. Might not have scanned properly because I'm a bit, we'll just put the serial number in. So it's 82152346 Q 8 T 8, confirm. Righto, so you can name it here as well. We'll just name this one Bob. This is now Bob the drone. So we'll put his hood back on too. Righto. So you can see now Bob is on our device page. So he's good to go there. We might just set him as our operating device because we want to use him on the field. So we'll go back. So now he's in the operation device. So now if we go to operation, you can see Bob's there now. So you can see there's a lot of stuff offline, obviously, because we don't have it plugged in. We've got the CEDA plugged in and we've got it all unplugged at the moment. So we've got a few errors there. So down the bottom right hand corner you can also check his camera. You can see Mick in the camera there. That's down that little camera icon there. You can turn him off. You can also go into Bob's settings. On the eye right over the side there you can turn on, so that turns on the light on the front. So you can see that there. It's got the lights on now, so that's actually pretty bright. We can turn him off as well. So yeah, this is all, if you click on the actual photo of Bob there, you can see this is all his settings. So we go to all of his settings, you can see all his batteries, his sprays, everything like that. So yeah, he's all good to go there. So what we might do now, we might add the RTK. Righto guys, now the last one you need to add is the RTK. So we've turned him on, so press and hold the battery until it flashes and then press and hold again and it'll turn on. So you can see at the top here we've got some lights flashing. To add this, so that it's a bit more tricky, this one to add. Obviously you don't need to add this every time, this is only because we've just got it out of the box, we're just trying to get it to talk to your account. So what we'll do, we'll go back to the app. We'll just set it to where we are, go to Me, Device, we'll go 3 dots at the top, LNT network configuration. We'll go portable base station, because that's what it is. We'll go next, and then it says press and hold the F1 button till it beeps. So we'll press and hold it, you hear it beep, and then we'll go set. We'll wait for it to come up here. It'll come up with the thing saying X base, so wait for that to come up there and then we'll connect to that. Wait for it to come up. There it is, X base. So we'll click on him. Same password as always, 20070401. Connect. Wait for it to connect. Righto, so go back, go connected. We'll tell it to talk to that LNT. Go connection, okay. Go configured. Looks like it might have worked, so we'll go back. So what we've got to do now is we just have to wait for that light, that F2 light. See how it's flashing once at the moment? So it has to triple flash. Once it starts triple flashing, that means it's all connected to the LNT, all good. Sometimes that might take a minute or two, so it will eventually triple flash. If it doesn't start triple flashing, see now it's triple flashing now, so we're all good. Sometimes just turn it off, turn it back on, and then just redo that pairing process again. But now it's triple flashing, so that means now it's connected to the LNT. So now what we can do, we go plus up the top here. We're going to enter this serial number, so you can see I can either scan it underneath here, but I doubt it'll pick it up. It's a bit funny sometimes. No. So I'll enter the serial number. So that serial number is, what is it, 2... Oh, hang on, what's going on here? Oh, hang on. This phone's a bit funny. Device, plus button at the top, enter serial number, which is 276112400 confirm. Sometimes it might say this. Sometimes we do it 3 times and it works. It's like the third press usually works. As you can see, now the third press usually works. So go RTK base, we'll call it that. Next. So yeah, sometimes, normally we find when we're adding the RTK, it takes 3 presses for some reason and then it works. Righto. So now we'll put that RTK down there. So you can see now the RTK is there. As you can see, it's dulled out at the moment, it's blank, but it'll come online. It's just setting it up. And you can see also now that we have the LNT connected to the internet, Bob's got some new firmware available. So we'll go through that later and show you how to update that. That's pretty much a run through on how to add the devices to your account. So now this drone's good to go. They can use it out in the field. When you turn it off and turn it back on, everything will just come up automatically. You don't have to go through that whole process again. So very good. We'll go into something else after this. Right, so now what we're going to do, we're going to go through a quick on how to update the drone. So the main thing, obviously, you have to make sure you have the LNT connected to the internet. You don't need to connect it to the internet to the actual update. It just needs to connect to the internet overnight or something like that to download the update. So what we'll normally do, we connect our LNT on overnight. And then when we come back, we can turn it off, take it out to the field. We can do the updates on the field because it's already downloaded the updates. So just go into the app. We'll go into me, device. We'll go into Bob because he's our main drone. We'll go firmware update. And it's just going to check if there's any updates. This is a brand new drone out of the box. So I'm going to guess that there is quite a few updates that are going to be available for this drone. So I'll just show you how to do that. It's checking for updates. If it doesn't have any updates, it'll just show you what current firmware is on it. So you can see there's a lot of updates there to be done. So there's quite a fair few, obviously. This is straight out of the box. So all you do, you just hit the top carrier firmware there, for instance, and it'll do all of them at once. And then that's going to do that. So we'll just fast forward this because this is going to take a while. It might take, 10, 15 minutes or so. So we'll cut it there and we'll come back once it's updated. Righto guys, so we've got everything connected now. So now we're going to go through a basic sort of setup on, what to do pretty much before you fly. So we've got the drone outside, it's on. We've got our ACS2 on as well. Now you don't need the ACS2 on if you're just doing an automated flight, but it is good as well to have it as a backup. If you need to take over at any point, you can press any of those buttons and take control of the aircraft. We've also got our RTK over there as well. It's on. Now, when you set up the RTK, it's good to have it, not around any objects, not too close to anything. You can see we've got them around everywhere here. But it's also good to make sure it's not underneath power lines or trees or anything like that. So just make sure there's no interference. Same with the drone as well. Try and keep away from everything. The more things you're underneath, the more interference you're going to have. So we've turned everything on. I'll come under here because it's raining a bit. But I'll do it on the phone here now. So pretty much we've opened up the app. Actually, I'll get right out of it so that it looks like as if we'll restart the app. Get out of everything. Okay, so we'll go into XAG1 app. As you can see, as soon as we turn everything on, everything's already paired and ready to go. So we go to device. So what you want to do, when you first open it up, you can see on operation, you can see Bob's on there. He's there at the moment. You can zoom in, we'll see him behind our shed there. He's got 75% battery. We don't have anything in him at the moment because he's got the cedar on. We can press that little camera icon as well, and we can see his FPV camera at the front. You can see the RTK there next to it. It says it's got a blue dot on top. That means it's not in RTK. So it means it can go in RTK because it's outside, but it's not in RTK. So we have to just connect it to the RTK. That's the base station. So all we do is we click on the little symbol of Bob there on his photo. We go over to the little satellite symbol at the top there. Actually first, sorry, I've jumped ahead here. We have to set the datum first on the RTK. So first, when you first turn it on, you've got to set the datum. So you go device, go to RTK base, see how it says single. We need that to say fixed. So we go set datum, we go single point, and then it'll say start single point positioning. So at the moment what it's doing, it's finding all the satellites in the area. It's getting a fixed point so that if worst case, if we lose GPS, the drone will talk to that RTK, always come back to the same spot. It's not going to fly off or anything like that. Makes it a lot more accurate as well for your mapping out and everything. So the big thing as well, if you map out a field, you can see one of our other videos as well on how to map out the fields. I'm not going to go into it now, but it's same as when you map out your field as well, when you're using one of these to get spot on. What you do is you'll save that datum, because now you can see on the screen here, it's gone into fixed point, and if we scroll down here, it's got all your coordinates in there, and we can save those coordinates. Because what happens is if you mark out your whole field and then you want to come back to it in a few weeks' time, you need to set up that RTK in the same spot and also put these same coordinates in. So we're just going to put this in as test. We've got to take a photo of it too. So that's where it is. I'll take a photo of it there. Yep. Okay, wait for that. Yep. So now that's saved there, so we go okay as our test. So next time when we come back, when we set it up again, instead of setting the datum again and we go single point, we hit enter coordinates, and then we can use the save coordinate, and then we can use that test one there. If we hit the info button, we can see a photo of it and everything like that as well. So we go out of that. So that's pretty crucial. Like if you mark out your whole field and you don't save those coordinates, when you come back and you can put it back in the same spot, but if you don't put those coordinates back in, your whole field can be off a bit. And if you've marked out your obstacles, then it can potentially hit those obstacles. So it's just really, really good to remember to save those coordinates. Some people even just take a photo of them and then they just put them in later as well. It is good to get that, because sometimes, say if you don't have, say if it didn't save to your account properly or something like that, you still have that photo. Because some guys spend a whole day marking out, you know, a heap of different fields, and they forget to save the coordinates, and then they have to remark it all again. So it's a lot of mucking around. So now that datum anyway, it's all fixed. All good. We'll go back. We'll go to Bob. Go into his settings. We'll go into the satellite symbol again. Now we've got to set the base station. We just got to tell the drone to talk to the base station. So we hit that little arrow there on the right next to the base station. We hit XRTK station, and then we see where it says X base. Hit that, and it'll come up connection. So we hit connection. It'll say base station successful. We just have to wait until that says connected. So now it's connected. Now we go back. Sometimes you might have to do that a few times. And see where it says RTK positioning, we have to wait for that to go active. So sometimes if it doesn't go active, you might have to move your base station, or sometimes all you have to do is just turn it off and turn it back on, and it'll go active. Because this one's a brand new one, it'll probably take a little bit because it still thinks it's probably at the factory. But what we'll do is, worst case, I'll show you how to do it. We just go back, hit it again, tell it,
base station setting successful.
Hit it again,
Base station setting successful.
wait for it to go connected, go back, wait for it. So where it says RTK positioning, we have to wait for that to say, wait for that to say active, not locating. Righto, so now we've set the datum on the actual RTK. So we've just got to tell Bob to talk to, actually we've gone through that, we've told Bob to talk to the RTK as well. We've set the base station for Bob. We've gone in there and he's connected. He's also now active. As you can see on RTK positioning is now active on him. So now he's all good to fly. So with Bob, all you have to do now is we might do a test on him as well. So you can go over here on the main menu. You've got a few different options. You can look at your battery. You can look at your seeder. You can also do a manual spraying test on your seeder. You can turn that on. You can see, you probably can't see, but it's spinning over there. We'll go back. We'll also do a prop test. It's always good at the start just to do a prop test, just to make sure everything's running fine. So you go into the prop settings there, you hit idle test, you go all on, go OK. You can see now that's spinning. It's good just to check that they're spinning in the right direction. Not so much when they're coming out of the box, but it's more if you fix things or if you replace things, say props for instance, if you have a crash, it's always good just to double check that the props are spinning in the right direction so that it creates lift. So you can also after that do a in situ flight test. So all it's going to do is go up a certain, about a few meters and hover. They're just going to take off, Mick. And taking off.
Bob taking off.
And we can turn the sprays or the seeder on. And we can land him. Righto. Right, so for the final sort of quick setup of this, we're going to go through how to set up, the sprays and all those sort of things. So now, once you open up the app, you've got it on, you've already marked out your field, you've watched one of the other videos on how to mark out a field. You go to operation, you go start operation, and then you just select the field that you want to do. So that one, for instance, you go OK. So now you'll see it's only want to do one line there, so you can go route settings, you can change all your swath widths and everything like that. So we'll bring it back to say, I don't know, 2 meters for instance. You can also change your direction on where you want it to fly. You can do all your heights, you can change all that, your speeds. Advanced settings, you can turn your obstacle avoidance on, you can turn terrain following on. Also terrain following, so you can have it on when it's only in the, so say if you want to go over a creek first and then get to the job, you can just have it on so that it's only on in the job. We can just have it on all the time. Same with the entry and exits, it's good to set up that, different heights and those sort of things. It's a lot of mucking around, you'll play with it and get whatever works for you. And you can also add your entry and exit points on. So see if you had entry and exit, you can also, for instance, make it fly around a tree first, like that. You can adjust that to, wherever you want to go. So you can change all that, we'll go out of that. And your spray settings, so we've got the seeder at the moment, so we can just change that. You've just got to calibrate your seeder first, so you can go into your settings of Bob, go into that, and then go spread granule, and then you've got to add a granule. Type in the name, say test, OK. Confirm, and then it'll do a calibration. Go those 3 dots, we'll go calibrate. This is only for your granules. You just say what sort of roller you've got in it. We'll say medium, and then go yep, next, and then it's going to dump it all out. I've got nothing in it, so there's no point doing that anyway. Go cancel, yes, and then it'll just ask you how many kilos you've got in there. So other than that, you should be all good to go. You can play around with the different features on here, like all your different kilos per hectare. Obviously, the faster you go, the less it'll put out. The slower you go, you can make it do more. With your sprays, you can change your different swaths. There is another video on that as well, so you can check that out anyway. In terms of actually, I think that's most of it, to be honest. There is some more videos on how to mark out fields and all that, but that's a pretty quick sort of run through on how to set it all up and those sort of things. Very good. Righto, that should be it. Beautiful.